We're going to talk a little bit more about how to write equations in slope-intercept form when we're given 2 points, but this time the points are going to be a little bit more difficult to work with. So remind yourself again what slope-intercept form looks like. I know we've done this a lot, but it's helpful, I promise. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So we know that m represents the slope of the line and b represents the y-intercept of the line. And if I have these two things, then I can write the equation for any straight line. But remember, there's an x and a y in this equation also. And x and y represent a point on the line. So let's remember that as we move forward. So we're asked to write the equation of the line that passes through these 2 points, 1, -2, and 2, 4. In order to write the equation in slope-intercept form, I need to know the slope of the line, and I need to know the y-intercept of the line. I know how to find the slope of the line because it's simply using this equation. The slope is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's do this first. So in order to use the slope equation, I need to label my points x1, y1 and x2, y2. Let's make this point number 1, so that means this is x1, y1, and this is point number 2, so this is x2 and y2. Now we plug in these numbers in their corresponding spots in this equation. So y2 minus y1 is 4 minus -2. Then on the bottom we have x2 minus x1, so 2 minus 1. And what do we get? 4 minus a -2 is the same thing as adding 2. So 4 plus 2 is 6, and then 2 minus 1 is 1. And 6 over 1 just simplifies to be 6. So the slope of the line is 6. Now how do I figure out what the y-intercept is? In the previous video, I showed you how to find the y-intercept by identifying the point that had a 0 in the x-coordinate, but neither of my points have a 0 in the x spot. So how do I figure out where this line crosses the y-axis? Well, it doesn't give it to us just by looking at it, but we can figure it out by using this equation. So notice that we have a value for the slope. We know the slope is 6. We also have a value for x and y. We have 2 points that are on this line, so we can choose either one of these points to represent an x and a y in this equation. And if we have 3 of the 4 variables, then we can figure out what the 4th one is. So let's choose this point to work with, just because it looks like smaller numbers, so it might be easier to work with, but you could choose either one. So we'll plug these in. This is x, and this is y, and we know what m is. So y is -2, m is 6, x is 1, and we don't know what b is. But we're going to figure it out. Let's do this math. We have a -2 equals 6 times 1, which is 6, plus b. We're trying to solve for b now, so we need to get rid of the 6, combine it with its 0 pair, which is a -6. So subtract 6 on both sides. -2 minus 6 is -8. These will cancel each other out. So -8 equals b. And look at that. We figured out that the y-intercept, or the place where this line crosses the y-axis, is at -8. So my equation for this line, y equals mx plus b, will be y equals 6x minus 8. This is the equation of the line that goes through these 2 points. Let's do one more example. Hang in there with me. So we want to write the equation of the line that passes through these 2 points, so we need to know the slope and we need to know the y-intercept. We'll start with the slope because we can figure that out with what we have. Remind yourself of the formula that we use and start labeling your points. So if this is point number 1, that means this coordinate is x1, y1. And if this is point 2, this is x2, y2. Then we plug in these numbers into the slope formula. y2 minus y1 is negative 3 minus 7. And x2 minus x1 is 3 minus negative 2. Okay, negative 3 minus 7 is negative 10. 3 minus a negative 2, well, that's the same thing as adding 2. So 3 plus 2 is 5. And negative 10 divided by 5 is negative 2. So the slope of the line is negative 2. Now with this information, I can figure out the y-intercept, which isn't given to me. But remember, I know the slope and I know a point for x and y. So let's choose this point for x and y this time. So in my equation, I know that y is negative 3. I know that m is negative 2. I know that x is 3, but I don't know what b is, but we'll figure it out. So negative 3 equals negative 2 times 3 is negative 6 plus b. Oops, not b. Did I just give it away? Negative 3 equals negative 6 plus b. So we need to get b by itself, so get rid of the 6 by combining it with its 0 pair. So add 6 on both sides. Negative 3 plus 6 is 3. Negative 6 and positive 6 are 0. And this equals b. So b is equal to 3. So the y-intercept, or where this line crosses the y-axis, is at 0, 3. So my equation for this line, y equals mx plus b, is y equals negative 2x plus 3. And that's the equation. Okay, go ahead to your last lesson video where we're going to go over just a few more examples for practice before you get to your assignment.